Breaking news at this hour, ABC News has just learned that the U.S. has just launched a military assault against Iranian-backed Houthi militants in Yemen. A U.S. official at this hour saying these strikes are the first on Yemen since the beginning of Israel's war with Hamas. Tonight, the U.S.-led attacks involve a mix of Tomahawk cruise missiles and fighter jets, the U.K. joining us. The White House warning the U.S. will, quote, counter and defeat these mounting attacks. Also, an emergency cabinet meeting in the U.K. today. Now, this follows months of attacks on commercial shipping in the Red Sea. 24 hours ago, we learned of the militants' largest attack yet. Their drones and missiles were shot down by the U.S. and the U.K. The militants say their attacks are in response to Israel's war on Hamas. The U.S. intercepting a barrage of 18 drones and 3 missiles just in this latest attack alone. You'll remember, one of the Houthis' most brazen attacks came in November. These are the pictures. Terrorists hijacking a cargo ship co-owned by an Israeli businessman. That ship tonight, by the way, still being held by rebels. Tonight, this U.S. attack now on Yemen and on these Iranian-backed militants now underway.
All right, Shalom. This is Hara 1 by Yasha Allah of the Lions Den Camp, located right here in Jacksonville, Florida. Before I begin, I want to say Kal Halayim, La Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Ha Rakah Kodash, Ma'amah. Double honor to the elder apostles of GMS and the elders. Shalom to you, Akim, and Akwatim and children that believe in sincerity and truth around the four corners of the earth. I want to start off with this scripture real quick. It says, Revelations 19:10. It says, I fell at his feet to worship him, and he said unto me, see thou do it not. I am thy fellow servant and of thy brethren that have the testimony of Yahweh Shai. Worship Yahweh, for the testimony of Yahweh Shai is the spirit of prophecy. All right, so I want to get this other one real quick. Start off with these 2 precepts real fast. This is 2 Ezra 15:1. Behold, speak thou in the ears of my people, the Israelites. Speak thou into the ears of my people the words of prophecy. So speak that same spirit of truth and prophecy, the spirit of Yahweh Shai. Speak that to his people. That's for the Israelites. Which I will put in thy mouth, saith Yahweh. Right, we become the Lord's voice, speaking the prophecies. And one of those main prophecies is, or 2, would be Ezekiel 38, with Russia joining up with Iran and these other Eastern nations, right, the kings of the earth. Now, you also have the West, which is the dragon, the beast, NATO, and America, the coalition, pushing for this war, World War III, to bring about order out of Abkeo, which is order out of chaos. All right, to try to bring in their agenda, New World Order. Okay. So their whole goal is to go into Iran. Ever since the 70s, their goal was to go into Iran. Even before that, you know. I just had a precept pop to my head. There you go. Let me get this real quick. This is Psalms 2:1. Why do the heathen rage? See, they're all raging right now. And the people imagine a vain thing, man. This is a vain thing that they're imagining. A new world order. Iran and the rest of the Muslim nations over there, they're imagining a world full of Islam. All right? Because the leader of the Houthi rebels, which are backed by Iran, I think in Yemen, has spoken out and said, this fight is about faith and their religion. That's what it's really about. All right. So let's read this article. I think it was on the new moon. I think it came in yesterday. The new moon was at 0% on the 12th. Yeah, the 12th. So and that same night is when they did the strikes. All right. And matter of fact, yeah, it says here the U.S. and the U.K., which is basically Britain. You know, the top dog over there in the U.K. is Britain. It says U.S. and U.K. coalition strike. Iran backed. How do they write like this, man? The U.S.-UK coalition strike Iran-backed Houthi targets in Yemen after a spate of ship attacks in the Red Sea. All right. Yemen's Iranian-backed Houthi militants have stepped up attacks on commercial vessels in the Red Sea in recent weeks, man. So they shutting it down for America over there. You know, all of their military bases. Remember, Iran put a promise out years ago that they were going to deoccupy America from the east, and at any moment they're going to attack all the bases and their ships out in the sea. And you remember that whole situation with Trump when he attacked their lead general Soleimani. They still want payback for that. All right. So now this America is poking at the hornet's nest because of this. Let's get this real quick, and I'm gonna read the article right after this. This is prophecy happening. See, we can't forget what Israel did. That's what it's calling the Israelis. We can't forget what they've done in attacking Hamas, they called it. Then that what was it, Hamas over in Gaza. But as we see on TV, on the TikTok and other websites, you see women and children getting this snipered and blown up, left in rubble. All right. So this is Jeremiah 49:20. Therefore, hear the counsel of Yahweh that he have taken against Edom. So that's what this whole thing is about. You know, exposing the iniquity of Edom. That's stirring up these battles and wars on the earth, raging in vanity. All this to push their new world order, which is not going to happen. They're going to get right to it, and then the Lord going to show up and shut it down. So it's all vanity. All right. So we can't forget how Israel started going, was putting hell on the people over in Gaza and the West Bank, causing them to rebel and fight back. Just like what was called, what was it called? All right, so if I remember correctly, it was called the Battle of Siddim with Abraham. All right, with Abraham, and then you had the these Arab nations, what would you call heathen nations, going to you can call them Arab states at that time, but they were going up. They were ruling that coast of Gaza, and then you had those Hamites, which were fighting back against their the oppression that was happening to them by those Arab states. I did a lesson on it called the First World War. So they're fighting back against oppression, and that's what usually happens, man. And then when they fight back against a ruling state, that's when that ruling state brings all that pressure down and that oppression, and that's what creates a war. So now you have those Gazans, which are Arabs, Ishmaelites. They fought back and they responded, and they were allegedly allowed to. And now you have what we see today: Israel obliterating Gaza, the Gaza Strip. And we know why they're really trying to do that, to clear it out so they can move and take those territories, allegedly. So now, you have the Hezbollah, you have the Houthis, which are backed by Iran and Yemen. And they're saying they've been attacking Navy ships. They've been taking Navy vessels that are in allegiance with Israel, the Israelis. So this is like a revolution, a revolt. They're rebelling against the ruling state, the ruling class, for their oppression. So this is a form of protest. And you haven't even heard about them getting on these ships and killing anybody. They're just taking the ships, seizing the boats and the people. But now you have them doing a bunch of strikes against the U.S. Navy or other ships out there near the Red Sea. All right, so it says at least 130 attacks on the U.S. forces. 130 in the past, since October 17th. All right, so 130 attacks on the U.S. forces. So they responded yesterday and today with airstrikes, a coalition airstrike, even including Canada, against Iran-backed Houthi targets in the Yemen. The country of Yemen, which is a free country. And Yemen responded, the leader of Yemen, I think the army, he responded yesterday saying they will not stop defending Gaza, standing up for Gaza. And also this is going to broaden the war. And they said they will attack the U.S. and U.K. with a bigger response if attacked. Well, they just got attacked. The Houthis said the same thing. They've been attacking with drones and small missiles, but they said they're going to ramp up the attacks, man. They have mobile military equipment, so they're hard to find, hard to attack. So these alleged militias or terrorist what they call terrorist organizations, imagine all of them coming together to make one coalition. And then you get Iran, and then you get Syria, and then you got Yemen now. These are actually country states, not just some small little militia that's just launching mortars over the border. This is like a country with, and then the Houthis are a militia backed by a whole, one of the top countries over there, Iran. They fund them with missiles, they fund them with everything. So the response is gonna be crazy. So we should expect it to kick up this week. All right, usually when we're out there teaching, we hear about more going down on the news. When you get home, it'd be a bunch of stuff happening all over the world. All right. So yeah. All right. So so what is this going to do? It's going to cause trade to slow down, and also oil. You know, if they started going after the oil tankers, the oil price per barrel has went up. So that's going to cause hyperinflation, higher prices at home. All right, so that's what they're doing. They're saying Iran or the Houthis are affecting global trade. When they're saying no, they just any ship that's tied to Israel or at this point America, that's what they're messing with. All right, so it says U.S. UK coalition strike Iran-backed Houthi targets in Yemen after a spate of ship attacks in the Red Sea. Yemen's Iranian-backed Houthi militants have stepped up attacks on commercial vessels in the Red Sea in the recent weeks. The United States and Britain carried out a series of airstrikes on military locations belonging to Iran-backed Houthis in Yemen early Friday in response to the militant group's ongoing attacks on vessels traveling through the Red Sea. All right, so they say the Red Sea could be a hotbed for war right now, and we know this is let me see something real quick. So let's read the scripture I was about to go into. This is Jeremiah 49:20, because as I was saying, we can't forget what the Israelis have stepped into when they attacked Hamas and it started obliterating them. It was proud, like Esau is, boasting, but now they're getting a response from these Arab nations or Muslim countries. All right, because that's what this is. It's a religious war. Now, it says here, or slash political war, because that's what they're trying to build, the political state of Israel, which was originally an idea of Esau. All right, Jeremiah 49:20. Therefore, hear the counsel of Yahweh, that he have purposed against Edom. So that's what this whole thing is about, to expose Edom for being a mystery of iniquity, abominations of the earth. And they're the focal point of Yahweh's judgment. And his purposes, also for them to go into perdition. And his purposes that he had purposed against the inhabitants of Yemen, which is one of the chief houses of Edom, going back to them Germans, which are really a lot of the Edomites we see today running the world. You know, those Germans, the same family. Temanites. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. So remember what Israel, those Israelis have drawn America out into this war. And we're seeing this now. Now America's on the forefront. You don't even hear about Hamas and Israel. You're hearing about America, the Houthis, and Iran in the UK now. So they've drawn them into the war. All right. So now Iran is being drawn into the war. So it says, surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Surely he shall make their habitations desolate with them, man. So ultimately it's going to lead them to their own demise, their own destruction. Poking at the hornet's nest. Well, the attacks are happening over here in the Red Sea. All right here. This is where the attacks are happening at. From the Houthis. Where is Yemen? There you go. Look at Yemen right here. This is a whole country, man. So they've been taking the ships and certain cargo, and Iran just took a tanker and they led it through the Persian Gulf. All right. So this would be around the area of the valley of Yahweh Shaphat, where the Lord going to judge these nations' armies at. This is the area for the hotbed of war. All right. All this area here. And all the armies are meeting up over here, even around Russia, either further in the east to fight. And that's prophecy. Because this was their whole goal from the beginning, to go into Iran. Why? Because Iran and Saudi Arabia, well, mainly Iran, they're like the ruling class over there. They have the say-so when it comes to the Islamic State, even with the OPEC nations, oil petroleum exporting countries. They're the top dog, Iran. All right, and they have a lot of control over this region, Iran, and Iran desires a Muslim world order. That's what they all want. So either way, if either side was to win in this war, we would lose. We would lose out, the people or Israelites. Because either side, Ishmael or Esau, would bring hell down on us, man, with them ruling. That's why the blessing is going to Isaac and then to Jacob, not to Ishmael or Esau. All right. So let's get this precept. So the least of them have drawn them out into this war. Okay. So they've been drawn into the war now. But let me get this real quick. There you go. This is Joel 2:20. But I will remove far off from you the northern army, America's army, North America, and will drive him into a land barren and desolate. So the steps of man are led by the Most High. All right, so the Lord is leading Esau into their own perdition, sending their military over into like Kuwait during what you call the Gulf War. All right, they set up all these military bases all over the place, Iraq, everywhere. So now these Muslim countries, they want to deoccupy their territory and get rid of America's army. So it says, right, man, because the scriptures say they go about seeking who they may devour. Heapeth unto himself all people, right? Spoiling many nations. Okay. So now these nations are going to rise up and spoil thee. It says here, and I will drive him into a land barren and desolate, the Arabian deserts. And with his face towards the East Sea, go ahead. This would be, the East Sea would be like the Caspian Sea or the Black Sea, which was originally, if you look it up, it was one sea. It was connected. All right, then the land dried up and it became two seas right here. So this would be originally the East Sea. Right, this region here. So with their face, so this is their direction. They were here, and the direction of America is going towards Iran and towards Russia. All right, this whole area here. That's the goal. And now they finally got that entanglement with Iran that they've been looking for. All right, the war powers here in America. Military industrial complex. So it says, with their face toward the east sea and his hinder part towards the utmost sea. All right, so his hinder part would be towards the Red Sea. See that? So all of this is involved in this situation. And in the midst of it, you have the Persian Gulf. Okay? So in Iran control, this was called the Arabian Gulf or Persian Gulf, which belongs to Persia. If anything, they can share it with their neighbor Saudi Arabia, be the Arabian Gulf or Iraq. But America's sending ships through here. All right, a lot of global trade comes through here. So, and his stink shall come up, and his ill savor shall come up, because he have done great things, man. All right, he went over there causing hell, man. And now their stink has come up, and people starting to smell it. Just like you said, they've done great things, man. Like Great Babylon. Or like they said, Alexander the Great. What was he great in? Wickedness. So they enlarged their desires as hell, man. So Esau is bringing hell upon this earth. So this is all right. So now it says Iran seizes an oil tanker in the Gulf of Oman, which is above Yemen. All right. What was that, in the Red Sea? The tip of the Red Sea. Iran seizes the oil tanker in Gulf of Oman that was recently at center of standoff with the U.S. Makes no damn sense, but all right, let's keep reading. It says, Dubai, United Arab Emirates, an oil tanker once at the center of crisis between Iran and the United States, was boarded and seized by the Iranian forces in the Gulf of Oman Thursday. Iranian state media said, citing the country's navy, after reports that unauthorized men in military uniforms had boarded the vessels. All right, so that's why I brought this out a while ago. All right, because the Lord is setting this up. This is Nahum 3:12. All thy strongholds, even out in the ocean, in the sea. You know, America's military, their tankers, whatever you want to call it. It says, all thy strongholds. Matter of fact, let me get this one. All right, so it says Nahum 3:12. All thy strongholds shall be like fig trees, scattered everywhere, right, blossoming, with the first ripe figs. All right, all the military bases and their strongholds and their trading vessels from America and Israel. It says, if they be shaken, they shall even fall into the mouth of the eater. Okay, so they're gonna fall, man. All right, into the mouth of the eater. So that the eaters are these nations that are like Iran, the Houthi rebels, Hezbollah, Russia, Yemen. The Houthi rebels, as I said a minute ago. So, yeah, man. So it's all over the place. It's a scattered war, proxy war. The smaller proxy nations are dragging the bigger nations into this war. Look at this one. It said the Houthis have backed Iran into a corner. A militia Tehran helped build may be dragging the country into the war. The least among them shall draw them out. So it started with Israel, but now Iran is being drawn into the war. All right, dragging the country into the war. You see that? So so it says Fridays are holy days of rest in the Middle East. Yeah, I forgot to be doing that mess, man. What they call it, Jew mess or some shit. I had a lot of friends in Philly. They used to do that every Friday. That's what we did with the Shabbat, the Sabbath, according to the new moon. Fridays are holy days of rest in the Middle East. But today, the region braces itself for the awful possibility of a broader conflict. The possibility. Why are they saying possible? Because it's being rumored. And we know what scripture that is. This is Matthew 24:6. Because even though this war is igniting, that doesn't mean that the end is yet. All right, we still got a lot more prophecies to go. The main prophecy, which is the MOTB, still got to have a dollar crash, still got to have famine, all these things kick off. But this is the proxy that the Lord spoke of. Matter of fact, let's get a different scripture real quick. Let's get this real quick, because this explains it, what's happening. We're in a time of the small fires being kindled to start the bigger fire to burn down the house. Luke 12:49. I am come to send fire on the earth. So we're already seeing what the Lord, his plan and his agenda is on this earth. All right, war and to destroy and bring fire. All right. Luke 12:49, I am come to send fire on the earth, and what will I if it be already kindled? So the fires are being kindled. And he says, what do you think the Father and Yahweh Shai's will is if the fires are already kindled? Meaning they wouldn't be happening unless the Lord wanted it to be so. So the fires are being kindled, but the end is still not yet. Let's get that. This is Matthew 24:6. And it says, and ye shall hear of wars. See, we're hearing of the wars. How are we hearing it? Through the media. You're hearing it from your neighbors. It's finally reaching to us. We already were teaching people. Next thing you know, you got your average American citizen coming up telling us, yeah, did you hear about the wars? I'm telling you, man, it's about to go down. What it's going to lead to is the sun burning and everything. Man, shut the hell up. I'm telling you, aliens coming. Like Jake be bugging, man. I talked to Ephraimite yesterday. I was teaching him, and I've been teaching him for a few months now, off and on. When I run into him, I just hit him with scripture. That's kind of, anyways. Usually you tell somebody once, if they don't get it, you move on. But you got them people that you see consistently, and they keep having questions, or they try to impose their thoughts onto you, so you just deflect it by teaching them. Yeah, man, they starting to see the prophecies. The prophecies are speaking. But at the end, it shall speak and not lie. That's why we speak what? The spirit of prophecy. Matthew 24:6. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See, it's being rumored that Iran and Israel are about to go to a hot war. That we said the possibilities of a broader conflict. For all, see that ye be not troubled, right? Because it's still not the time of Jacob's trouble yet. We're in that time. We're in that phase. We have crossed through that door The Lord said is even at the door, right? But we've crossed through that door, we're in that phase of the last prophecies. But Jacob's trouble is going to climax with the missiles hitting this place. That's Malachi chapter 4. All right. So see that ye be not troubled. This is not it yet. For all these things, yeah, Jake gonna be troubled. They're gonna be bugging out. Oh man, you see this? It's about to be destroyed. This ain't it. We still got work to do. For all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. All right. So you're gonna hear these wars and the rumors of the wars, but the end is not yet. Esau's end is not yet. Our salvation, the day of it, is not yet, but we're in that time. It is. It says, let's get that. That's right. This is Matthew 24 and 32. Now learn a parable of the fig tree. When his branch is yet tender and putteth forth leaves, you know that summer is nigh. All right, and the fig tree is known for putting forth leaves before the fruit. All right. So when it put it forth as leaves, you know that in the summertime it's going to have that harvest of the fruit as well. You know you're getting close to that time, and it usually will happen in winter. Going into the spring, you'll start seeing the leaves sprout on the fig tree, and then late in the spring and in summer, you'll see all the figs pop up. So you know that summer is nigh. So likewise, so summer represents Judgment Day in this sense. So likewise, or the destruction, when ye shall see all these things, know that it is near. It's not the day, but it's near. All right, the end is not yet. Know that it is near and it is even at the doors. But just know, verily I say unto you, this generation shall not pass till all these things shall be fulfilled in these times, man. So we're in that time, but it's near, you know, and that's a blessing as well. We're seeing the finish line. Get closer. All right. So yeah, man, I ain't gonna read too much of these articles, but the Houthis have backed Iran into a corner. A militia Tehran has helped build, may be dragging the country into war, the Houthis. All right. But it's really a setup to bring in all these militias in Arab states to build their coalition against America. So they're stirring the hornet's nest. All right, so I'm gonna end it there, man. Just an update on some news that's going on. They had a coalition strike backed by the UK and America. The leading nations were Britain and the allies, Canada. Said the United States and Britain carried out a series of airstrikes on military locations belonging to Iran-backed Houthis in Yemen early Friday in response to the militant group's ongoing attacks on vessels traveling through the Red Sea. For Fox News is told there were attacks on more than a dozen Houthi targets by air, surface, and subsurface platforms. Now they're saying they might send in ground troops into Yemen, and it's a free country. So they're like, yo, it's gonna be war. The attacks were carried out with the support of Australia, Edomites, Netherlands, Edomites, all right, Netherlands, which are also part of the dragon and the beast, Bahrain, and Canada. A U.S. defense official says the UK contributed to airstrikes. President Biden, Sleepy Joe, said he'd authorized the strikes in direct response to unprecedented Houthi attacks. See, that's their agenda. That's on their agenda, this war. With a war, they can institute the War Powers Act, and then President or Joe Biden will remain the president. There will be no elections if there's a war. So he got a motive right there. It says the Houthi attacks against international maritime vessels in the Red Sea, including the use of anti-ship ballistic missiles for the first time in history. And it's going to get worse and worse. Iran identifies alleged mastermind behind Soleimani's memorial bombings that left nearly 100 dead. Sorry. So yeah, man. That's right. So these Houthi attacks, Biden said, have endangered U.S. personnel and its allies and have threatened freedom of navigation. These target strikes, the freedom of navigation means it stops the flow of commerce, and that'll stop trade. These targeted strikes are a clear message that the United States and other partners will not tolerate attacks on their personnel or allow hostile actors to imperil freedom of navigation in one of the world's most critical commercial routes. The president said, right, because that would kill trade. That would bring a famine locally. That's right. It's prophecy, man. We bring this out all the time too. This is 2nd Ezra 16:21. Behold, victuals, food, raiment shall be so good cheap upon earth. See, these sheeple, they think everything is okay as long as the prices are cheap. You got Temu now shopping like billionaires. That they shall think themselves to be in good case because the oil prices are not skyrocketing. When the oil prices skyrocket, that's when they're going to feel the effects of the war around the world. They see it fluctuating now, but per barrel the prices are going up, and they're going to feel it. We're going to see it at the pumps eventually, or in the stores. So they shall think themselves to be in good case, especially here in America, that dwell without walls carelessly. And even then shall evils grow upon the earth. So all the fires being kindled all around the world. Even then the evils are growing upon the earth. Sword, the wars, right? Famine and great confusion. A bunch of confusion, because you got America being involved. The city of confusion, Babylon, the country of confusion. There's a bunch of confusion around the world. And the Lord said he was going to do that to these nations that came up against Israel, the children of Israel, the Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans. The Lord said he was going to do that to these nations, have them in derision. Why did the heathen rage and the people imagine a vain thing? The rulers and the kings of the world have set themselves against the Lord's people. But the Lord shall have them in derision. He said he's going to laugh at them. So he got them in confusion right now. All right. Let me get this precept. End it with this one. All right. Dang, where's that? All right. So you see it saying Britain's involved. These UK countries. This is Revelation 16:14. For they are the spirits of devils, man. That's what they are. Part of the military, right? spirits of devils working miracles, which go forth unto the kings of the earth. So they're going forth. Esau in the west, they're going forth into the kings of the east to start this war. All right, the kings of the east would be people like Iran, Arabia, Yemen, Syria, Russia, China, southern eastern realm. You got Eastern Eurasia with Russia, and then you got the East, which would be what they call the Middle East. So, but Esau, they're the spirit of devils working miracles, which go forth. Part of those miracles are those bombs, those attacks that they're doing. Just like Hiroshima and Nagasaki, those look like a miracle. All right, causing a spectacle, which go forth unto the kings of the earth. They're going after Iran and other nations. That's why you're seeing these new faces pop up. The Yemen leader, these are the kings of the earth and of the whole world, to gather them to the battle of the great day of Yahweh Almighty. That's what we're seeing right now. They're being gathered, but the battle is not yet. Behold, I come as a thief. See, it's going to be unexpectedly. Blessed is he that watcheth. So we're watching by watching the prophecy, and keepeth his garments, meaning endure and remain in the spirit of truth, man, and continue to teach and keep your garments. Don't lose your integrity as the judgment day gets closer. Lest he walk naked, right, in shame, and they see his shame. And he gathered them together into a place called in the Hebrew tongue Armageddon, which would be Armageddon, or gathering of troops. So all the nation's troops and their armies are gathering over there around the Red Sea, around Persian Gulf, around, which would be like Jehoshaphat, or Yahweh Shaphat. That's what it means, the place of Yahweh's judgment, where you're going to judge their armies. And in the midst of that war, Yahweh Shai is going to appear, according to 2 Ezra 13. So it says, and the seventh angel poured out his vial upon the air. What's lucky? Where was that? Yep. And he gathered them together into a place called in the Hebrew tongue, all right, Armageddon. So I'm gonna leave it there, man. All right, so they've all been gathered together. Okay, and these are the spirits of devils. United States, Britain, Canada, Australia, they're all being gathered to go out and lead these nations which go forth unto the kings of the earth and to the whole earth, to gather them to the battle of the great day of Yahweh, of all the Almighty, man. Okay, so let's get one more maybe. This is Joel 3:2. I will also gather all nations, so all the nations are being gathered, see, and will bring them down into the valley of Yahweh Shaphat, and that's around that whole area where things are heating up at, near the valley of Kidron, near the Persian Gulf, all right? And the word valley of Jehoshaphat means Yahweh Shaphat, where he's going to judge their armies, and will plead with them. The word plead means to judge. Will plead with them there for my people and for my heritage, Israel, whom they have scattered amongst the nations and parted my land. See, the Lord still remembers what they did to us. That's what it's really about. Why did the heathen imagine a vain thing, man? And they're raging. And it really was against us. And now they want more rulership. But it's time for Jacob to rule. And now they want to, they're both, all these sides are fighting over who's going to get the throne next, or who's going to keep the throne. But it's about to be taken from them and given to the children of Israel. All right. Um, that's right, man. And the Arabs had a part in scattering us, the trans-Saharan slave trade. All right, all these nations had a part in scattering us, man, and parting our land. Let Joel 3:12, let the heathen be awakened. So these are all heathens. All right. Let the heathen be awakened and come up to the valley of Yahweh, for there will I sit to judge all the heathen round about. So bring them out, bring them out, bring them out, bring them out. So they all been what? Led to their own demise. All right, so the U.S.-UK coalition strike Iran backed Houthi targets in Yemen after a spate of ship attacks in the Red Sea, and it says Iran is being dragged into a war, just like America, which is their agenda. All right, so the Lord can sit and judge these damn heathens. With that, I'm gonna say shalom and stay in the spirit, and just remember the end is not yet. So now we have to kindle the fire even more and get our second breath, you know, and fortify yourself and look at it like you're just starting again. You know, that's what you have to do in a fight. You have to refresh yourself, reboot, and keep going. Change gears like you're going up a mountain. With a mountain bike, you got to learn to change gears. All right. So with that, I'm gonna say, hey, shalom.